And girls, good evening. You are welcome in the 94th episode of zoology class organized by Society of Career Technology and Jan Vikas Mahasabha. Today we will talk about Eurochordata group. And Eurochordata group is specific, special in the sense that here in the larval stage nerve cord and notochord, the chordate features are found. But in adult, when this tail is lost, the notochord and nerve cord are also lost. So here, in comparison to the metamorphosis of all other animals, where the larva is less developed, adult is more developed, there is progressive metamorphosis. But here, the larva contains the chordate characters which are lost in adult, so its metamorphosis is called retrogressive metamorphosis. The representative animal of this Eurochordata is Herdmania. It is also called Rhabdocynthia. Rhabdocynthia. And as you know, if a complete book is written on a single animal, that is called a memoir. So in 1936, Professor S.M. Das of Lucknow University had also written a memoir on this Herdmania or Rhabdocynthia. It lives in ocean, on the bank of oceans, and its body is covered by a covering of test or tunicin, which is called test, and there is a small foot on the posterior end which helps it in attachment with the substratum. At the embryonic development, the body rotates. So the symmetry of this Herdmania is very special. At this end, mouth is there. It is the anterior end, and the just diagonal end is the posterior end. Mouth is covered by 4 lips, and it is present at an elongation called the branchial siphon. And on the other end, the dorsal side, there is an atrial siphon which leads into an arteriopore. And this is the body proper. It may be up to 7 centimeter long and 4 centimeter broad. Sometimes it also lives attached with some molluscan shell, Turbinella, Xanthus, etc., and show the behavior of mutualism or proto-cooperation. In most of the books, it has been written as commensalism, but it is wrong. Commensalism word means eating at the same table. If you are sitting in a tea shop and around the table there are 4 chairs, you are sitting on one chair and you are sipping your tea. Another person comes and he is not getting any other place. If he asks from you that may I sit here, I say that okay, you can sit here, but you will take your own tea and your pakodi. I shall not share with you. So in this, if I offer that, well, you can sit here, the other person is benefited, but I am neither benefited nor given any harm. So this is called commensalism. But in proto-cooperation, both animals are benefited by the association. If it is attached with a gastropod shell, its body contains many spicules, and due to that pointed needle-like spicules, the other animal cannot feed it. So the body of the gastropod mollusk is also protected. On the other hand, it is stationary in nature, so by attachment on the body of a gastropod shell, it moves to different places. It can get different food items during this journey. So both are benefited. Interesting thing is that all these protochordates, the Hardmania and the other, the cephalochordate Amphioxus, their pharynx is surrounded by another chamber-like compartment which is called atrium, and then around that atrium there is the body wall. Due to this development of atrium, the coelom becomes reduced and it is a ciliary feeder. Along with water current, small microscopic food particles come in, and there is a sphincter here, due to which it acts as a sieve or a strainer. So only microscopic food particles can enter in it, and larger particles are avoided. Here in this sphincter, you can see here 4 types of tentacles are there. 8 large, which are 5 millimeter long, alternating to them 8 medium, they are 2.5 millimeter long, then 16 small, 1.5 millimeter long, and then 32 very small, which are 0.5 millimeter long. Overall, it makes a sieve-like structure, so only fine food particles can enter through it. The pharynx is also divided into 2 compartments. There is ring of 2 peripharyngeal band here. So the area behind this is called prepharyngeal sac, and this is called pharyngeal sac. This pharyngeal sac is also important in the sense that it has many transverse vessels of 4 order. You can see one group of transverse vessels are this, second group this one, third this one, and fourth this one. So they make some rectangular area which are called stigmatic area, and in this stigmatic area 4 to 5 gill slits are present, and 2 more special features. On the dorsal roof of this pharyngeal sac, there is a structure called dorsal lamina, and in dorsal lamina we have 20 to 30 just this type of areas which make a gutter-like structure through which the mucus-laden food particles can pass through. On the floor also a structure is there which is characteristic feature of all protochordates. It is also present in cephalochordata. It is called endostyle. It is interesting in the sense that it can accumulate radioactive iodine like the thyroid gland. So it is supposed that it is ancestral or early stage of vertebrate thyroid gland. Here in endostyle, when we cut a transverse section, we get 2 types of cells. Some mucus gland cells which secrete mucus in this cavity, and some ciliated cells. Ciliated cells have 1 larger group and 4 smaller group. So what happens? When along with water current some food particles come in this pharynx sac, the mucus gland cells secrete some gum-like mucus, and the food particles get entangled in that mucus. Now by the help of movement of these cilia, the mucus entangled food particles are directed towards the dorsal lamina, and through it, the gutter, they are passed forward. Now this pharynx leads into a small esophagus. A small esophagus again leads into a small stomach, and stomach is surrounded on both sides by 2 liver lobes. Then it leads into an intestine. Intestine make a U-like turn. In between this turn, gonad is found, and finally it opens through the anus into the atrial siphon area, and undigested food materials are expelled outside through this atriopore. It has been reported that these livers and in the wall of stomach and intestine there are some pyloric gland cells. They are similar to pancreas, but pancreas is a separate gland. Here the pyloric gland cells are just present in the wall of the stomach and intestine, and they also secrete some digestive enzymes. So this liver and pyloric gland cells secrete three enzymes: some amylase for digestion of carbohydrate, some protease for digestion of protein, and some lipase for digestion of lipids or fats. The mode of propulsion of food is by ciliary movement. All over in the cavity of alimentary canal there are cilia. The cilia beat and propel the food forward. Whereas in higher vertebrates, in our cells and higher vertebrates, amphibia, reptile, birds, etc., there is muscular mode of pushing the food forward, which is called the peristalsis. So this occurrence of ciliary mode of food propulsion is a primitive feature. So this much about this digestive enzyme and digestion of Hardmannia. Detailed physiology and biochemistry of digestion is not known, and this much for the day. Tomorrow we will talk about circulatory system. Thank you very much.